Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Meg and Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak team, printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
Welcome back to another Best Ball lunch break. This is another episode of Talking Ball Steel. This week we're doing a DraftKings day. Today, Tuesday, is going to typically be our DraftKings day during the day, and in the future we'll have a night show for Underdog as well. But today it's just DraftKings. We want to get more into the DraftKings streets. We'll do a millionaire maker to start, and then maybe we'll do one of these tutties. These tutties are fun. I mentioned them last time. I think they're really good ROI contests. So, maybe we'll get into one of those. We'll start with the DraftKings Millionaire contest, just to review it real quick. It is, round 1, 2 of 12 advance, round 2, 1 of 12 advance, round 3, 1 of 12 advance to a 1,089 person final. But the prizes there are pretty damn nice. 3 million up top, 2 million to second, 1 million to third. Not too bad to finish and get the bronze and still come away with the millie. As you see, a lot of six-figure prizes into 15 places, 100K or more. And even the min prize, $1,250, doesn't cover your max, but it is a nice hit if you can make it there. And the other benefit of DraftKings is just along the way you get more money per entry. Like per entry that makes it to the playoffs, $40 for each entry you do is $25. If you're in second and third, so missing the advancement to the semifinals, you were doubling your money. So that's nice as well. I think that helps the ROI a bit. So definitely a fan of that ability, and then obviously all the promos that they're doing. So we will get into a draft in a second. Let me hit up chat first. We got King QC in here. Good to see you. We got Mike Robb. Steve, have you started stretching for the long weekend? Yeah, it's going to be wild. And of course, Meg has me doing shows every day, Mike. But no, it's looking forward to it. I think Meg's really come up with a really good plan. Got a lot of great guests. We have games. Should be a lot of fun. So very much looking forward to it. Speaking of Meg, good to see you. We got Hartman in here. What's going on? So yeah, let's get into our first DraftKings draft of the day. These DraftKings drafts do take a little longer, 20 rounds and 30-second clocks. So let's get into one here. I will count it down when we get into it. So I'm going to count it down in 10 seconds. And we're in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. All right, still waiting on a couple. And we will get to it. We got Hulk in here. Good to see you, Hulk. Hope everyone is having a good day. It is, we are getting more and more, we're starting to get like obviously the rookie mini camps, and now like the mini camps and stuff like that. So I think we're going to start getting news. I think we saw already a couple free agents, obviously Njoku yesterday, and I think just going forward, we're going to get more and more of these free agents finally signing, and then of course, just some of these camp battles. So let's see, I'm in here. See, we got Spunky. Go to the draft board. I'm in the 5 spot. We got Spunky in the 6. It's the only name I recognize. If somebody else is in here, give me a shout. Good luck to, well, at least Spunky and anyone else who might be in here. So, these DraftKings drafts are, the first round is fairly similar, even the order, but then you start to notice some differences, like Josh Allen or Shea Rice get really pulled up, a few others. So at the first round, you don't see much change, but once even getting into the second and third round, things really start to move around compared to Underdog. And some of it I think is justified, some of it I do not. Oh, King QC, that's right. You have a different name in here. Tough MC. Okay, I need to start remembering that. So King QC's in the 10 spot. Spunky saying, I started a Gibbs, Bowers, Gibbs, Flowers, Lamar from the 101. Nice. Now Boogie's in here. Good to see you. I still love that profile picture. We got Mike in here. Draft a shipper today. Let's hope. I was thinking the AJ Brown trade was holding things up, but Jennings signed some maybe not. All right. Yeah, I mean, that is going to be the big one in presumably a couple weeks. The AJ Brown trade that will shake some things up for sure. And I think there could be some fallout from that. And to Hulk's point, like some of these other receivers, some might wait till after that trade is official. But I think there could be some subsequent trades from that, like particularly Kayshon Boutte. Like he could get dealt somewhere, and there's multiple places where I think he could go and be a solid number 2 or number 3 receiver. All right. I probably prefer JSN over Puka, so glad I got that. I do think, and talked about this a little with the show, and obviously it's more Underdog focused with Lutz and Huhames last night. And this is the issue with Stafford, is he played at such a peak level last year. Led the league in passing yards, led the league in passing touchdowns, and led the league in passing touchdowns by a good chunk. If he comes down to earth a little bit and even hits 80% of that, 85, 90% of that, really good seasons. But what does that mean for Puka? What does that mean for a little less Adams? Because Adams, I think, is actually underpriced right now. And the thing with JSN, like JSN had a larger target share. It actually came down a little bit at the end, but because Seattle was so good, they actually didn't throw the ball a ton. So JSN's targets could remain relatively flat, even if he loses like 5% target share, because I could see them throwing the ball 75, 100 more times this coming year. The defense did take a hit. Their running game took a hit, losing not just Walker, but of course Charbonnet being out. Like Price helps that a fair amount, but I don't think anyone can say that Seattle's running game looks as good as it did a year ago at this time with Walker and a healthy Charbonnet. So, I think they could just have to throw the ball more this year. And also that defense did take a hit. Like they lost, Maffa pass rusher, they lost multiple defensive backs. Still going to be good, but just probably not, one of the top 3 units in the league. I like Spunky taking the Jefferson call. I think Jefferson and Monroe are all really good here. Obviously, CMC, his passing involvement. Jefferson, if you look at just his 5 games with Wentz, he would have been on par with just about any receiver in terms of targets and catches and yards last year. If you extrapolate that out, he was just so hurting so much from the JJ McCarthy stuff. Now, I think Kyler is a nice upgrade for him. So McBride still being picked this high. I know he's one of the few tight ends with theoretical 100-yard upside, but he actually might not have it near as much this year. I just think this is too rich of a price for a guy like McBride in a format that devalues tight ends. Full point PPR devalues tight ends, and the 100-yard bonuses devalue tight ends. Tight ends just aren't going to get them at the same level. Let me go Chase Brown here. And yes, McBride's one of the few that could have 1 or 2. There's probably only a handful of tight ends that really have that in their bag. But, if he gets it 2 times, 3 times, the running backs receivers in this range, Derrick Henry could get a 100-yard bonus 7 times. That's very much in the range of outcomes for him. Yeah, Seattle also plays a tougher schedule this year. So probably more close competitive games, shootouts. I'd rather take Bowers. Exactly. I mean, Bowers is in a better situation because Bowers is the Raiders' number 1 target. People will say McBride is the Cardinals' number 1 target, but they have a former top first-round pick in Marvin Harrison. They are going to try and keep making him happen. He and even Michael Wilson, I think those 2 guys are a bigger threat than Naylor and Trey Tucker. I like Naylor and Trey Tucker, but I like them because of where they're valued at. And so from a price perspective, having these tight ends both essentially in the same area, though there's a bigger gap here, which doesn't make sense in my opinion. But it's easy for Bowers to pay off and for Naylor and Tucker to pay off because they go so late. It's next to impossible for McBride to pay off and Harrison and Wilson to pay off. So we just almost know for a fact that the Cardinals ADPs are wrong. Now, perhaps McBride's the one right one and the other 2 are just very wrong. But more likely, McBride's the wrong one. All right, coming up to 29, then I'll get back to the board. I think Pickens, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, I think all are really good plays here. So I'm happy to get at least one, have one of them to choose from. Pickens goes. I'm going to go AJ Brown. I think the trade's going to happen. So I think that's an upgrade for him. I think there's a much higher ceiling with May. That's another team who didn't throw the ball a ton. They were just extremely efficient throwing the ball last year. May was excellent. But now, another team, much tougher schedule. Their defense is good, but not elite. And they just had so many games last year where they just stopped throwing the ball in the 4th quarter. I doubt that occurs at near the rate that it did last year. Something I found interesting looking at weekly winners, I know it's a different game, was that the Rams only had 1 score whose 40-point game make it for a top scoring team. Yeah. I mean, that's actually fascinating. considering, because I would have said like Adams and Kyron had enough like high 20-point games at their rounds. Like that was a tough, like even though Puka had a lot of other 20-point games, in the first round, you really need, you probably need your first rounder to have a 30, 40-point game. There's just enough of those that go around. And there becomes, I do want to talk, after the schedule, I want to talk more about weekly winners, but the tough thing with weekly winners is there's so many teams out there, only roughly 2.8%, whatever the exact math is, make the cash line. And you think of it, every top player is drafted by 8% of the teams. There's whether, it's roughly 200,000 entries. But it's, they're all drafted 8% of the time. Essentially, like, in 8.4%, whatever it is. And so there's many people, you can even have the nuts player of the week, and over half those teams are not going to even make the cash line, or it's actually impossible for them to make the cash line. So I just think with weekly winners, you need to be so right. So like in the first round, you really need to get the guys who hit the biggest spike weeks. And to me, that's usually running back, just because running backs score more points. Running backs are going to have more total points. And if they're not hitting the spike week, they have to have like just a really strong score. So it's like, you are going to prefer somebody like that. Just total points do matter in that format. And, the McCaffreys, the Gibbs, the Bijans, they obviously just hit that at a higher rate last year than, basically any of the receivers, even more than Puka. And, I think that really becomes a thing. And Puka is interesting because he dominated receiver scoring at the end of the day, but it was not to this point, it was not enough to, be a big weekly winners guy. I would do Scatterboo here. I think it's a really good format for DraftKings. I think he's going to have 100-yard equity, obviously pass game equity, touchdown equity. He can cover all the things on DraftKings for sure. So, I think weekly winners is interesting in that regard. Of definitely the same types of players aren't as valuable. I think valuing spike weeks are just way more important. Jeremy, sorry about that, Jeremy. The other teams to get just one scoring player were the Texans and Giants. Interesting. Texans, I guess it was a Nico week. Can't imagine who else it would have been. Giants was either Scabby or Wandale. Maybe that one. I mean, Neighbors had that one big game, so I guess that is the one thing with the weekly winners. It just takes 1 week. I'm surprised Stafford never got there with the Rams stack. Yeah, and that is probably part of it. Stafford was very consistent with a lot of. This is the other thing is you generally need, when it comes to quarterbacks, you generally need the number 1 or number 2 quarterback of the week. Stafford had probably had a lot of top 5 quarterback finishes. I'd really have to double check it. Definitely a lot of top 10. If you're not getting, and I know he had a couple 30 plus point games, but if you're not getting 30 plus points, you're probably not paying off. You're probably not rising to the top at the quarterback number. So we will go Mike Evans here. So definitely the mobile quarterbacks, the spike week quarterbacks. I think Malik Willis and Kyler have more weekly winners value Like, for instance, like Justin Fields, obviously week 1 last year, and maybe one other week was probably in the weekly winners mix. Maybe not the top team, but at least was helping you like really cash some teams. But he was an awful quarterback. So the mobile quarterbacks do take more primacy on weekly winners, in my opinion. How do you feel about a few Jameis clicks on weekly winners? Dart plays like a lunatic and Jameis can spike. So what I would say, I'd only probably do that in a Dart team, because like Jameis, like handcuffing the Giants, both have like big time spike week potential, and I would probably only do it there when I've like built out Neighbors and Likely and Dart, and then throw in Jameis Winston, because if Dart misses 3 games, you don't. You're making a bet that Winston could be a very unique piece, for sure. But but then you're also like betting in on, your other Giants pieces. Now, Winston in Superflex, I absolutely love, because we got the 20 rounds. That is the other thing. Like I've mentioned other things, I would have loved for weekly winners to be like a 20 round format also. Just since, we're making a bet on 17 different weeks, it'd be nice to have a little bit more cushion there. Nico Neighbors. The Giants actually did have some other big spikes. I mean, Scatterboo, a 30-point game coming from like the mid rounds, you would have thought could have made it. Wandale coming from the late rounds had a couple like high 20-point games. So a lot of it is also very round specific. And I appreciate you looking at the data. I haven't looked at specifically, but even if Scatterboo was, because I think that was a high scoring running back week. I want to say like JT had a big game that week, and maybe somebody else, but it's also like Scatterboo. I doubt many flex plays were 10th round or lower were hitting 30 points. So I do think for weekly winners, especially the round where you're getting those values, is so key. We got Bayou checking in. Good to see you, Bayou. Always, and I jumped in his stream yesterday. So always check out his channel as well. But I appreciate you jumping in. We're doing DraftKings today. Jamie, good to see you as well. Appreciate that. All right, coming up in 2 picks. And yeah, I don't love this range, so I'm just going to take quarterback. Get some elite upside there. Now, I personally don't think Jaden Daniels has as much value in this format, just because I don't think he's a big like 100-yard bonus guy or 300-yard bonus guy right now. And I think this was drafted right. I think May is clearly ahead of Daniels and Hurts, because he has 300-yard upside and he's got a good rushing upside. Like he can do, because I think his rushing was kind of light last year, 400-ish yards, 4 touchdowns. Like he could easily be 600 plus yards, 7 touchdowns. So he could get you 70-80% of their like Daniels and Hurts rushing upside and just have way more passing upside than them. Yeah, no, I mean, I figured that's what Hulk was looking at, Mike. But it's just interesting to see, like, particularly when you're looking at an offense like the Rams, who was so top tier, to only have one player of the 17 weeks to finish at the top score, because they did have some true alphas. is interesting. But yeah, looking more into the top 10 and top 20, top 25, I think is valuable as well. Yeah, I was just getting to feel. No, I agree. Because there's just some teams that just don't have that upside. Talked about with Hames, and I know I wouldn't be surprised if Breece Hall was on his one game against the Bengals last year. But like the Jets, my argument against like Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, we're taking these guys on Underdog 31, I think 38, and they just don't have like massive ceiling outcomes, and they're probably not as consistent. So why are we taking them so high? And I think on weekly winners, they definitely take a hit because those offenses just don't score at the same level, the same pace. Garrett Wilson had a lot of like high teens point games. That's good. Also not necessarily sustainable, but that's good. But that's not going to, for a 4th round pick, it's not going to do much for your lineup. Like Pollard here. Yeah, the Drafters weekly payouts. I talked about this with Hames. I love the concept. I just wish it was more than, because it's top 10. Like you could have done top 100 and just make smaller payouts. I think fairly easily, and I think most people would have loved that. Yeah, I love rushing upside from my quarterback room. Definitely agree, Sweet Leaf, and I think but to the point, I think it's most important in something like weekly winners. Now, consequently, on the flip side, like Eliminator, I think you want the guy who's going to get 10, 20 plus point games, a quarterback. Like some rushing quarterbacks are pretty consistent, obviously, but others are less so. Does Malik Willis still have value? Does Kyler Murray still have value? Sure. On weekly winners, or on Eliminator, but not as much, because the thing with weekly winners, they have that 35-point game. It can pay off for you. You can win enough money in 1 week to pay for your entire bankroll, not just your weekly winners payout. But in Eliminator, that's great. It might advance you 1 week, but then the next week when they have a 12-point game, not nearly as good. And just going back to the Justin Fields example, he was great for a couple weekly winners weeks, but for Eliminator, he was awful because he had multiple weeks where he was like the stone worst quarterback. That one game in London or wherever they were against the Broncos, he was so bad. Got Low Simone here, GM. Good to see you. An 8-yard run is going to swing your weekly drafters payout from 5K to yeah, I know. Can't wait for that. Oh my God, there is gonna be some crazy tilt stories there. I mean, it could be like 2 kneel downs at the end of the game. Your quarterback loses, half a point, and you could drop considerably. I mean, that, among many reasons, is why I would have made it just a little bit more flat and, deepen the number of people who are getting paid out. Go a little bit more running back heavy this one. Rico Dowdle. Maybe I'll stop at 5 running backs. Even with being 20-round format. I really like my core 4 right now. Shit, forgot about the kneel down. Yeah, no, that is a factor. I mean, it's crazy. I honestly wish they would, and I know you can't because it's just how it's scored and it's natural stats, but boy, I'd love if that got eliminated. The worst part is because you're almost, sometimes you kneel down at the end of the half, of course, but your most kneel downs are, of course, winning teams. And so it's like your quarterback did really well and you lose points. I remember 2 years ago, it was a week 16, and Herbert, I think they had the Thursday night game, I think it was Chargers Broncos, and Herbert had 2 kneel downs, maybe 3 kneel downs, but it was 10 total yards because he went back to kill even more time. He went back at least 5 yards twice. So he lost at least a point, maybe even a point, 1.2 points for the kneel downs at the end of the game. And that cost me advancing a semifinals team to the finals. Or maybe it was quarterfinals to semifinals, one of the two. I just remember that and being very, very tilted. I'll go Jacoby Myers, get back on the receiver train. So 1440. Yeah, no, always appreciate great data insights. Since post-UD Best Ball season started, Steve had 0 stream drafts on his count from the 10, 11, or 12 spot. You're paying off, man. Steve's getting ready for the physical pain of the 24-hour live stream by using the DraftKings website, Sharp. Oh, boy, yeah. I lost my week 1 fantasy matchup. Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah, that, if I could be fantasy czar for a day, that's the one thing that'd be the first thing I'd eliminate. Negative points for kneel downs. So Kyler goes. It's definitely considering a quarterback there coming back. So we'll see if one gets back to me. Do you have a caffeine strategy for the 24-hour live stream? Oof. Probably not a good one. Definitely will have a lot more caffeine than normal between coffee and maybe a caffeine drink or two. But yeah, I don't know. Luckily, neither Meg or I are doing the full 24 hours, so we are a little blessed in that regard. I'm gonna have a 4-hour break. I think she's gonna have a 4-hour break, something like that. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. All right, here. I'm gonna take Kelsey. I do think he's a little pricier in this, but I do think he's fine. Not that I really see much 100-yard bonus equity left in him, but he's obviously done in the past. We know he can be featured. We know this passing offense can really be high volume. But I do think he can really rack up the catches on this team. And, talked about before, like Mahomes coming back from the injury. I think his rushing is just not just cut in half. It might be like 20% of what it was last year in recent years. So I think that's just more like short area targets to Kenneth Walker, Travis Kelce, maybe Rashee Rice and Worthy, of course, but and Kelce could very much benefit. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him kind of go out in style and have, not his a career year, but maybe his best year in a couple years. And so I'm at 1-4-4-1. Do want to get a quarterback at some point. Let's see what's coming up. Inside he feels wrong from the voice in his ear. Meg all 24 hours. Oh, what are you talking about? That's a blessing. All right, here. I think I'm going QB. Take the Shuck fall. I wanted Darnold, but I'll take Shuck. So I'm seeing at 2-4-4-1. Spunky's at 2-4-4-1, and King QC tough here is 2-4-4. About to make his 11th pick. No, I mean, I know it's going to be, brutal, especially as it gets into the Saturday. But I am looking forward to it. It should be fun, and get to do a lot of different drafts, do some games, all that kind of stuff. All right, getting into the 12th round here. This is the area where I feel like running back is, and this is why I went for already. I don't mind like White and Chris Rodriguez, but because I actually think they're kind of valuable on this format, and Mason, but it feels like that's kind of where the drop off is. And Chris Rodriguez, like, yes, he doesn't have passing role, so he moves down here, but it's like he moves down like, almost two, a round and a half at least here. And he's much closer to like Tracy, Brooks, etc. That I think is interesting, just because this is, I know some people don't like hearing it, but that is a backfield that I think is way more up in the air than people give it credit for. Did you hear about the rule for the game? You take a shot each time you miss. Came from the office upstairs, man. So it has to be done. Believe in you. Oh, that would be bad. Here we see the quarterbacks go a little bit heavier. I'm going to take Cam Ward here. as much as I don't mind Aaron Rodgers, like you're more likely to get boxed out at quarterback here. I do think, with having a guy like Jayden Daniels, who's has all the upside in the world, but also has quite a bit of injury, track record so far in his 2-year NFL career. Good to see you, Omega. Hope you're doing well. Let's get the board back up. Probably look wide receiver with this next pick, but tight end also dries up a bit as well. I do think for particularly this bigger tournament, I like mixing in late, or not late, but in these rounds, I think there are a lot of receivers with some spike week upside. The 2 of 12, the 1 of 12, the 1 of 12, like you really need to hit that. And while we see Aaron Rodgers go here, so yeah, he could have very easily gotten boxed out quarterback. But having a couple of those guys with the 20 rounds and in this range, these next 2 rounds feel like a good area for receivers. So I like mixing in some guys who I think can really spike or return a lot of value. There are some tight ends I like here as well. Won't he see? Be interested to see where Gadsden ends up going. I think, particularly for DraftKings, he needs to go down quite a bit. Naylor goes. That's one of the guys I was going to take. Like Shaheed, also Juwan Johnson if I go tight end. I think I will go Shaheed. I wish I had Darnold, but I think Shaheed, obviously JSN's the better quarterback or receiver, but I think Shaheed will have some spike week upside. So I don't mind taking some shots here. Meg checking in. Rudy's neuter surgery went well. I'm going to go pick him up now. The Rudy account may not be thrilled with me today. Yeah, probably not. Been taking a ton. Tracy, Peanut, are you saying specifically on like full point PPR or just in general? No, I think Tracy's price is fine. Honestly, on both sides. Yeah, Mendoza, boy, I think that's one whose ADP needs to fall more, just with the uncertainty of what his starting role is going to be. Like I said, this is a fun receiver range. Diggs, Tucker, Naylor, Jennings, Shaheed. Omar Cooper, I think, is fine in the 150s. Unspeakable things have happened, Steve. Bark. Oh, my. Yeah, that's definitely not my idea of a good time. probably, I doubt he's happy. Oh, he might be pretty drugged up. Travis Hunter goes, and that's another one, just some spike week potential. So I think, and this is the same for Underdog. Like, I think these spike week guys do add value, a little bit more valuable in these like bigger tournaments where that big spike week, if it hits at the right time, can be the difference of you advancing in the playoffs or not. Kamar Spears go, Boston go. Basically all the guys I wanted. But this... All right, Depot. Yeah, we'll go Chig here. Get a stack, get a second tight end. Tyreek Hill's another guy who just needs to fall. Like, even though he theoretically is spike week upside, I just don't. I think this is if he's continuing his playing career, this is just a rebuild year. Big Tracy guy too. Like, his quarterback's guy who plays like a lunatic. Yeah, I mean, he does. It's just I do worry. I think Tracy's fine, but as we saw last year, like Singletary, it's not like they gave the role to Tracy. That was kind of way more split than anyone would have liked, but we'll see. It's a new coaching staff. But I think Tracy's fine where he goes, like in the 140-ish range is pretty good. Peanut butter or the old chair gets it when we get home, lady. Yeah, I'm worried about our grandparents' chair also. Side note, we should start investing in the GIF company. It seems like sales will rise. Poor Rudy took a visit to the Blue Tent. Yeah. For a week and a half. Jiffy sales will be on the rise. Yeah. Oh my. Good old Rudy boy. So let's see here. Definitely not taking Brandon Ayuk. Tony Williams, Dylan Sampson, Tesla. That's kind of where I'm looking at right now. Schultz, if I go third tight end here. I'll go Antonio Williams. Obviously, Jaden. Antonio Williams has a real path to be wide receiver 2 on this team. So that, I think that's an interesting pick in this range, especially in a full point PPR format. He should be a primary slot, rack up the catches, Kick saying with the Rudy thing, he'll recover quickly. It's been my experience that male dogs recover quicker than female dogs. Interesting. Yeah. I'm sure Rudy, well, the tough thing is keeping Rudy from jumping around. He's still a very high energy boxer. So today he might be drugged, but I don't know about the next couple of days. So I'm sure Meg's gonna definitely be having a lot of fun with that. All right, coming up in the 16th round. Okay. I'm sitting at 3462, Spunky at 3462 as well, and Tough King QC making his 16th round pick is at 256, now 2572. We'll take Gunnar Helm for a third tight end, another stack. This is a little, I mean, I'm glad I got the 4 running backs I really like, because just never have gotten like the later round value running backs where I feel like I could take them. All right. Just a couple more picks here. It is, I mean, you wouldn't think you notice the difference, but you do after doing all the 20-second clocks. You notice the 30-second clock for sure. I'm done at tight end, done at quarterback. Running back. Still a couple of handcuff guys I like. That's kind of where we're at. So I'll go Tank Bigsby. You know, I think one of the better handcuffs out there. How do you feel about the NFL playing in Australia this year? You know, it's that is quite the trek, and I know they're trying to do it, you know, early to allow the players to get back in time. But boy, that's going to be interesting for week 2 for those teams, how they handle that. That is a very far plane ride. And, you know, like I've said all along, like the George Kittle, I don't care what his recovery is. To me, there's just like no way having a guy coming off an Achilles fly there and back. So even if he is ready week 1, I don't expect him to play week 1 and make the trip. And that could be for, you know, some other, you know, injured guys as well. We got Emo in here. Good to see you, Emo. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. So let me go back to the board. As we enter these last 3 picks. Yeah, not after yesterday, you know, last couple of days, like the Jennings and then Joku and even the Breece Hall signing. I didn't see any real NFL news today. So this week, I'm sure we'll be mainly schedule stuff. And then next week, we'll be surprised if we get a few more of the signings, and a couple other tidbits. But it will, like, having all these mini camps start, we will start to get some more like injury updates, on some of these guys. So it will be interesting to see how that impacts some ADPs. All right. Just take Ollie Gordon here and then finish off with a couple of receivers. This, of course, was around the time last year. It might have been a little later, where we had the Steph Diggs boat party, and we had the Athletic beat reporter who'd made a statement that he thought Diggs would start on PUP list, wrote an article, and literally the next day he's at minicamp running routes. And it was clear, like, that was just, or like 2 days later, and it was just total fugazi. And yet in the meantime, Diggs saw like a 2-round drop. It was totally wild. But yeah, it is definitely, keep an eye on the difference between beat report speculation and beat report insider information, and like clear cut actionable intel. Because if you read the Athletic report, and I don't totally blame the guy for doing it, like he even kind of wrote in the article, like, these injury, coming off this injury, typically, it's not unexpected to see him start in the PUP. So it was like a prediction for the wide receiver room he's doing. So I expect we'll see Diggs, week 6 or something like that. But that's what everyone ran with. But it was clear he had not talked to Diggs, he had not talked to the team, not talked to the doctor, etc. It's just his pure speculation without any like actual reporting on it. But people took that to be gospel. And so we got a lot of 75, 80 pick Steph Diggs last year, which was a tremendous value. Dude finished top 20 wide receiver. I don't mind Troy Franklin here. Odell Beckham having an ADP is pretty wild. I know there's been some reports of him in talks with the Giants and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to have to see him sign on the dotted line before I'm going to draft him. We got Cromulin in here, GM Steve. Hope all is well. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well also. All right, coming up, one more pick for me. We'll review these teams, and then, I'd like to try and maybe do one of those tutties, which I do recommend. I think those are good, fun contests. DP posing with Vegas Dave and pink Birkin bag sin. Who digs? All right, I want one more receiver here. Let's see what's available to me. Don't mind a rookie shot here. It gets pretty thin after that on, to be honest. Kyle Williams is a fun year 2 pick. So I'll grab one of these guys. I'm going to prefer Surratt. I like Brennan Thompson. I think he's interesting for sure. So I end up 3-6-8-3. I'll review my team and then Spunky and King QC's team as well. I go Jane Daniels, Chase Brown, Cam Scadaboo, JSN, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, and Tony Pollard is currently my flex. So that's 3 of my running backs. My other running backs are Rico Dowdle, Tank Bigsby, Ollie Gordon. I think Dowdle and Pollard both can actually hit the flex quite a bit, but it gives me a pretty good running back score potential with those 4, and then 2 other guys to mix in, maybe now and then. Receivers, in addition to my top 3 of Jason, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Jacoby Myers, Rashid Shaheed to give me that spike week guy, Tony Williams, kind of like that more floor play, Troy Franklin, could be a low beach, and then Surratt at the end. So it thins out pretty, probably more than I would like. But I think I've got 3 receivers who can be top 10 receivers. So that's pretty damn good since I didn't necessarily pay for it at that rate. And then, I'm really going to have to rely on Myers and Shaheed and hopefully Antonio Williams to cover it. Tight end, Travis Kelce, Chig Okonkwo, and Gunnar Helm. So I stacked up the last 2. I think that turns into, for beyond pick 100 tight end room, I think that's a pretty solid tight end room. So I feel good about that. Spunky in here. He went 3-6-8-3 as well. Jalen Hurts, Marion Hampton, Travion Henderson, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, Ladd McConkey, Tucker Kraft, and J.K. Dobbins in the flex. His other quarterbacks are Justin Herbert and Geno Smith. So really good combo at the top with Hurts and Herbert. Other running backs, Rashard White and Braylon Allen, Ray Davis. I think that's another similar build to mine, like 4 running backs you can kind of really count on, then 2, later guys like Handcuff and, whatever role they can work out. Receiver-wise, beyond his top 3, Concepcion, Diggs, Deebo Samuel. So I think there's a lot of upside value with those 3. Obviously, a rookie who could be the number 1 on his team. Diggs and Samuel both could get really nice landing spots and very well pay off the ADPs. Then finally, Mitchell and Brazil. So I actually like his receiver room better than mine, for sure. Tight end wise, to go along with Kraft, Mark Andrews, and Greg Dulcich at the end. So yeah, Andrews and Kraft is a good 1-2 punch. And that is maybe one of my regrets, like taking both Chig and Helm where I did. Waiting for a guy like Dulcich would have been maybe a little better for my team's outlook as well. But no, I think it's a well-crafted, good team all around. Some spike week guys, young upside plays, but a good core to push you through. And Tough MC, King QC's team, Lamar, Genty, Jalen Warren, C.D. Lamb, Zay Flowers, Christian Watson, Jake Ferguson, Carnell Tate as your starting lineup. Obviously kind of like anchor running back, and we'll see how the rest of it pans out. But for this format, Flowers stacked up, pretty solid tight end, good starting core receivers. Other quarterbacks, Dak, and that was just Dak. So just 2 quarterback build, but Lamar and Dak. Other running backs, Quorum, Gainwell, Brooks. Yeah, just throwing some nice mid-tier volume at it. Hopefully just consistently getting, a good RB2 score to go along with Genty. And yeah, I think that's a very doable way to play it for sure. And then Adam Randall also tacked on. Receivers went 9, so 4 that are in the starting lineup. Add in Amar Cooper Jr., Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Zachariah Branch, and Hollywood Brown. You're kind of relying on those core 4 and then taking some upside swings with some of these young guys. If they get the right role, right situation, could really pay off. To go along with Jake Ferguson, Dalton Schultz, and Stowers. So yeah, a nice, Ferguson and Schultz, the 2 reliable guys, and Stowers could be the spike week guy. So yeah, 3 fun teams. Oh, Ayuk. Yeah. Good Lord. Who knows what's going to happen there? It just does not sound good. I have no idea why he still has an ADP. All right. Let's do a tutty. I'm going to enter. In 10 seconds, and in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So wait on 3 more. Let's hope we can get this filled. I haven't really done any of these on stream yet, but I think they're fun contests. So while we wait, contest details, 2 of 12 and 2 of 12 again, 1 of 10 for the 3rd round. Then you advance to a 14-person final, min prize 500, max prize 5,000. So it's a very condensed finals. If you make the finals, you're very well paying off, because this is, it's 5 entry max, so it's $35. Waiting on 1 more. So no, I'm a big fan of this contest that they do, and DraftKings has gotten better and better at that. Like there are other tier type contests, they're like $10 chain mover and stuff like that. They're pretty well done. 1 more to go. Come on. Did we fill? Nope, still waiting on 1. Sometimes it's supposed to go in automatically, and I know it did last time, but I've noticed it doesn't always do that. This is the other thing I will say in terms of like different sites features. One thing I love about drafters is how many are filled. So, it's one thing if people were in the lobby and see there's only one more to fill this, I bet it gets filled. It would have already been filled, right? That is one of the best things that drafters does. I'm in waiting like the Cookie Monster. There we go. We are filled. Appreciate that, Huckleberry. And there you are. You're in the 3 spot. I'm in the 5 again. I don't see any other names. If anyone else is in here, please let me know. And yeah, that's all I see. So appreciate you joining me, Huckleberry. And this one, the other thing is the DraftKings, it's like a minute and a half to start, 2 minutes to start. I think you probably at this point could get away with just starting automatically, or 30 seconds, whatever it is. Been waiting till the schedule coming out, and then I'll jump in more stream dress. Appreciate that, Kicks. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, part of the reason why I wanted to do a Tutty versus another DraftKings Millie is wait on the schedule for sure. It's a big, in part because we have the 24-hour live stream coming up, but these last couple of weeks I have been doing like I'll stay on for 3 or 4 hours and do 3, 4, 5 drafts. I haven't been doing that because, I'm trying to like be more limited until the schedule comes out. Yeah, I think DK does a pretty good job with this. Like, yeah, you get the 375 back. Your first one's free. There are other promos all along the way, so they do a pretty good job with how they're doing this. And I've maxed the last 2 years. Last year wasn't great. The year before, I had like a 30% advance rate. Fortunately, I had and obviously I had a lot of fortune in Underdog, and I did have 3 DK teams advance to the finals, but none of my Millie teams that year. It was just a really bad semifinals week for me on DK, because I had like 12 teams in the semifinals and 3 advanced, which is good, but they were like 3 of my lower teams. Because I think I want to say I had 3 DK Millie teams in the semifinals that year, and I think did one get second? One might have gotten second, but the other 2 were pretty bad. So. Yeah, no, the first draft I did was a free ticket because of that. I don't think I'd done one since the weekend. So I did Jason last time. Let's do McCaffrey this time. Yeah, DK made far more appealing on nearly all levels. I think I may actually max BBM and DK main this year and take my shot after weeklies went well this last season. Now I get it. Yeah, you're absolutely on fire on weeklies. Let's invest that money in the best ball portfolio. But no, truly, I think it's a fun way to do it. These tournaments, we obviously have to wait all season, but they can have quite the payout. Yeah, I think I said this last week when I did this, Chase is the one guy. I think you can honestly make a case for Chase at 101. I think the top 3 are pretty locked for me on DraftKings, especially. No, I agree. Like Chase at 3, I don't think I've had. I think I've had one 101 since the draft, and I think I took Gibbs there, if I'm not mistaken. But I definitely think Chase is locked into one of the top 3 picks. You know, what he did last year with multiple weeks of, Burrow only played roughly half the season, and, Flacco luckily filled in for a chunk of it, but those couple weeks, and he had a couple good games still, but, if Burrow can just play all year, the sky's the limit for Chase. Yeah, no, Drafters does a really good job with promos as well, and they also do a lot of reload bonuses. That can be nice as well. Good to see you, Lutz. Mentioned before, I was on with Lutz and Who Hames last night on Who Hames' channel. We're talking about some of our fades, so I thought that was a good, fun stream as well. All right. Coming back to me. I'll take the Lil Fallen Rasheed race. I think even on DraftKings, I think he's more of a turn pick, but at 20, I think it's fine. He can rack up the catches. I do think, he benefited greatly from just a massive red zone touchdown roll last year, Rasheed Rice. I do wonder if that changes a little this year with Kenneth Walker. I think partly he benefited by them not having any sort of running game, any sort of back out of the backfield that they could rely on. So I do think he could lose some of that touchdown equity with such an investment in Kenneth Walker. And Kelsey's last year and all this kind of stuff. But Rice, I think, is good in full point PPR for sure still. I'll go Kyron. Still is a decent pass catching role. Such good usage. I don't like getting too far behind at running back. I know you hate my fades. Yeah, I took Christian McCaffrey, and obviously McCaffrey's a little different on DraftKings with the full point PPR bonus. There's ones we each had ones that we agreed and disagreed on. Hopefully Lutz will actually find some bold takes in the future. Let's try to get a lead at every spot. No, I definitely get that approach sometimes. Excuse me. So Huckleberry is at Chase Bowers Love. I like that. And as I don't know if Huckleberry was on before, the Bowers price, I'm fine with. McBride, not, the Bryce sold it. I'm not sold on McBride in the second round, particularly on DraftKings. Honestly, any format, but definitely DraftKings. Because touchdowns will not save you. Agreed, doing the majority of my $25 on DK, preferred UD platform, but DK more appealing. No interest in drafters, $20 at entries for 50K, Sunrun, pure after taxes. Just not big enough bank to burn 3K. Yeah. No, that's another one where you're definitely not burning 3K, because if you are maxing, you get a lot of tickets and stuff along the way, but I get it. Did you guys share any of the same fades? Well, I think we purposely would choose, if we heard somebody talk about the same player, we chose differently. I think that's how we all approached it. But there are definitely guys where all three of us were in agreement on, for sure. I'm on the clock, so I should probably pay attention. Let's go DJ Moore. I think he's got a lot more 100-yard games in his bag this year with Josh Allen, of course. That's right, draft is $15. But you get money back from maxing. You get a lot of tickets along the way. They'll do a lot of promos. So, you generally do pretty well. Yeah, I'm with you. No, I just can't take McBride over Bowers. Because also, as much as I like, I believe in LaFleur, I believe in the Shanahan, coaching tree, McVay coaching tree. LaFleur, longtime member, part of that, obviously. It's just like, so is Clinton Kubiak, and Kubiak's just had better results, has been a play caller more stops, been better at it. And just even like the whole Kirk Cousins versus Jacoby Brissett, giving Cousins by a mile, like for any time that a rookie quarterback's not in. Then when it is rookies, Mendoza by a mile. Mendoza is probably better than Brissett by a good bit. So I just think the quarterback situation is so scary there. Let's. I think I'll go Evans again. I like JMO, but Evans is a number one, and they both have deep ball ability, but Evans also has red zone ability. Neither one's probably going to get like 150 targets. It's never really been Evans' game. And though I think he could get more targets than JMO. So it's just, I don't understand the price difference. I know the injury, all that, but at some point I feel like we begin to double count this. I said this last night, I know. Speaking of Evans, I know it's on Lutz's list last night. But Evans on Underdog is going as like wide receiver 23, 20, 22, 23, 24, whatever it is. This guy is like a top 10 wide receiver machine outside of last year. So not only can he return value, he can smash value. It'll be interesting to see if DJ Moore actually finishes his routes. This coming from the Bears fan. No, I get that, but I think so. I mean, back with Joe Brady, Josh Allen. I'm imagining DJ Moore will be pretty motivated to play. I mean, I know he obviously should have been last year, but I could see it being a pretty good run out for Moore. So Huckleberry talking about the Burrow pick. Yeah, crazy sucks before Higgins and Chase, which obviously Huckleberry was looking at. I do think people get a little weird about quarterbacks on DraftKings, which is part of it for sure. But yeah, this is why DraftKings can be a bit more the Wild West. Tate or Tyson? Go Tate. I obviously like Tyson quite a bit. He was my wide receiver one in the draft, but he is capped as the Saints' number 2 wide receiver. Could be a very good number 2 wide receiver there, but I don't think he gets more targets than Olave. I think Tate is, even if Wan'Dale were to get more targets, Tate's are going to be far more valuable targets. Wan'Dale would be a lot of underneath stuff. And the reality is, I think Tate is the number one target guy overall. Jason saying Burrow doesn't stack 90% of the time on DK PPR or donks. Yeah, people just, I mean, some of it I get, like Burrow has incredible 300-yard game equity. If he stays healthy, he could hit that 9-10 times. That's a big chunk of points. If he hits it 10 times, that's 30 points. But you'd think, and even if it's stacking Burrow with Chase Brown, just making a Bengals team bet, you'd like to see it more with one of those three guys. And I don't believe that's what we saw here. Right? Like Crazy Socks didn't have, yeah. Because I would understand it, just making a Bengals bet. All right, we will go DK Metcalf. That's one that I know is on Huheem's list. I disagree. I think Metcalf is going to be a good fit. I think Pittman actually helps Metcalf quite a bit. Because Metcalf last year had run a lot of like in-breakers and crossers, and he actually did okay with it. But now he can focus on being more of the deep ball guy. And Aaron Rodgers, despite still being up there in age, is still a pretty damn good deep ball thrower. And this is all predicated, of course, on Rodgers coming back. And also a red zone back shoulder guy, like jump ball guy, like DK has that in his wheelhouse. So I get it, and I just think this offense is going to be so much better. Like last year's Arthur Smith offense was just so anemic. And I think Mike McCarthy historically has run pretty damn good offenses. So I'm looking forward to it, particularly if it is obviously Aaron Rodgers running the show. No worries. I do the same thing. ETR has Metcalf super high also. I definitely think you should go higher than this. And I think Pittman should go higher than this because I think the offensive volume is going to be way more than people expect. And even Aaron Rodgers last 2 years with the Jets, and which was not, the cleanest of teams, and that was his first year back from the Achilles. And then last year with the Steelers, he had a 4.8 touchdown percentage that finished like tied for 11th in the NFL, 11th or 12th these last couple years. That's obviously really good. And up until he got injured, he was like at 1.7%. He was at one point, like it was like Lamar, maybe somebody else, and him in touchdowns. I think Lamar, Stafford, and him in touchdowns like through 8-9 weeks. So I just think there's more there than people are letting on. So my wide receiver room feels really good right now. Running back room does not. Like McCaffrey and Kyron, but would like to get a third guy here. And I will go back to the Rico well. I just think that's way too good a value. Back-to-back 1,200-yard years. No idea why Jaylen Warren goes above him, even in this format. Jaylen Warren, for as much as the profile is of this great pass-catching back, he's honestly just good at it. Like he's a good pass down back because he's a good pass blocker. But as a receiver, this is not obviously the McCaffrey's, Bijans, those kind of receiving profiles. Like Warren is just above it, like above average at it. This is why Gainwell ate into his role so much. And Rico had essentially the same number of receptions, maybe exactly on the dot, same number of receptions last year as Jaylen Warren. Yeah, give me Rico. Yeah, no, that is the truth. Like Hurts going after those guys, or even around those guys. I mean, all those guys. I totally agree. Like, I'm not saying a Burrow stack, but I do understand why people get hyped about a quarterback who can throw for 300 yards every single week. It's just ideally, stack them. Like if you're drafting a lot of volume, take Burrow in those when you have the opportunity. So Brock Purdy feels like a good first quarterback click with Evans. I think we're going to push tight end a little bit here. We'll see what gets back to me in 13 picks, though. So no, just going back to the ETR Metcalf super high. Yeah, I mean, I do think, I don't think, and Metcalf has gotten, top 15 years, I think once or twice in the top 10 in the past. I don't know if he's like a top 15 guy, but I think he's in that 15, like 16 to 20 range is very real for him. Now, a little bit more an underdog just because I think he's got 10 touchdown upside. And, that obviously plays quite a bit on underdog. Because, and this is half point PPR, but he finishes like 26th in total points last year. I think 20th or 21st in points per game. And that includes like points per game guys who didn't come close to playing half a year, like the Rashid Rices, a few others. I think that even includes Neighbors, who obviously played 4 weeks. So, even higher if you do it for guys who, played 10 games or 8 games or whatever. So 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 5 receivers. Don't think I'm going to go receiver here. Quarterback is tempting. I think we're going to go Kenneth Gainwell, get some more running back depth here. And a guy who in DK, Kenneth Gainwell is just a lot of value. We saw last year he can rack up catches. Bucks give him $8 million a year. Sean Tucker, we know, has like no passing game role. And Bucky's never been like a tremendous pass catcher. So I think Gainwell could just be Baker's guy out of the backfield. Can really see him have a lot of targets. So I think for DK and drafters, Gainwell has even more value, and I think he's fine in this range on underdog. Let's see. So coming up in a couple of picks. Could go first tight end. Might go a second quarterback. Receiver, I mean, Worthy, and Worthy's a fine pick. Coker would be okay there. Tight end, not taking Gadsden. Goddard, likely. Maybe Andrews. Running back, don't like the JCM price. Aaron Jones, I think, is fine here. Rashard White. I think I'd go. Let me go running back. Go Rashard White. Another guy very similar to Gainwell. JCM, not really known for his passing work. Katron Allen, not known for his passing work. Rashard White should fully have that role. And also probably has more of a total role than people give him credit for. push quarterback more. I generally would like QB2, that is. There's some later stack options here with obviously Steelers, Tennessee. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get somebody back. Huckleberry is 2351 at this point. I'm 1550. And I think it's just the two of us in this draft. Now, I'll say this is the thing for talking about the Crazy Sucks team. Point up Burrow unstacked, and then taking Dak and Stroud. If you're making that bet on Burrow, don't know if I'm investing that much right away in the quarterback position, and not even stacked up. And Nico and Stroud are, but and I don't get overhyped on stacks as much, but interesting. Let's take Cam Ward. Hopefully year 2, him and Tate. That could be a fun combo. So last time I was hoping Darnold fell to me. This time he does, and I don't take him. Tight end, I think I'm going to have to push. Could go back to the receiver well here. A few guys. Not Hill, but basically anyone else would be viable. Running back. I mean, I think this is a very fair price for Kamara, but I don't think I'm going to go running back here. Strange, Juwan Johnson, Henry, Chig. I mean, all those same guys as last time. Thoughts on Bucs offense this year? I think their defense is going to be bad. Yeah, I don't think their defense is in an overly good spot for sure. The Bucs last year, obviously some of it was the coordinator changed, Josh Grizzard, and that's why he got replaced. Not ideal. I like the Zach Robinson coming in. I think that's a good pickup. I don't think he was the issue in Atlanta. So I think it's probably a positive for Baker. As for so much of it was the injuries last year. I mean, boy, Bucky missed a big chunk of time. Baker didn't really miss time, but he was definitely banged up. Evans missed a ton of time. And Buka didn't really miss time, but banged up. Godwin missed a ton of time. McMillan missed a ton of time. So, and then on top of that, multiple offensive line injuries, including their stud, Tristan Wirfs. I saw him go earlier last time. I'll take Aaron Rodgers. It's a stack. Let's get my third quarterback. Maybe could have waited, but it's just such a drop off after this. I don't want Cleveland quarterbacks. I think they just need to be healthier and not just the skill guys and Baker, but the offensive line. Because down the stretch, like Baker just didn't have time. It just wasn't looking good. Even when like Godwin and Evans and McMillan were all back, it's like nobody was 100%. Offensive line still had some issues. But I think they're interesting. They got off to a good start, and then the injuries just started piling up. And even against like Seattle, like that was a shootout game against Seattle, week 5, 6, whatever it was. So, hopefully, I really think the Zach Robinson hire is also good. Comes from the Sean McVay tree, Kevin O'Connell tree. That's where Liam Cohn was. And I know Grizzard technically is from that as well. But obviously, Zach Robinson has more play calling experience and ability. So I think that could be a very positive outcome. And I don't think enough people are giving that enough credence, to be honest. Yeah, it says here Baker was hurt almost the entire season. Yeah. So I think it could be fun. Yeah, I think there are some limits to their upside, especially losing a guy like Mike Evans. I don't think he's just easily replaceable. But if the other receivers can stay healthy, I think they can be fun. All right, let's see what gets back to me. Don't have a tight end yet, so Chig would be very interesting. Denzel Boston goes. That would have been my receiver. I think I will push tight end, though. Kamara, to me, is a value here, especially on this site, DraftKings. I really like Travis Etienne, but I think Kamara has a role and has a pretty decent role. And particularly in a full-point PPR site, Kamara can be a passing down weapon and a red zone weapon. That's a lot of points. So I want to be well above the field for Alvin Kamara. And I do think my running backs will hit the flex a decent amount. My tight ends scores on this team are going to be weak. There's no question there. But my receivers, I think I really like my top 5 receivers. So, I think this would be the standard 3-6-8-3 team. I could maybe do 4 tight ends and do only 7 receivers because I love my top 5. I really love this running back room. McCaffrey, Kyron, Rico, Gainwell, Rashard White, and now Kamara. And I think quarterback room for waiting is pretty good as well. So done at quarterback, done at running back. It's just receiver and tight end from here on out. It's gotten done at tight end. No question about that. One more pick. I think I'm just going to take the top tight end. That'll be Schultz. Just curious, Jason, what was the coach speak that was not great about Kamara? Because everything I've seen is them confirming that he's part of the backfield. He confirmed it. Beat reporters are talking about it. Maybe I missed something. So if there's something I missed, I appreciate hearing it. See Money in here, GM, good to see you. So yeah, please fill me in if there's anything I missed. All right, coming into the 16th round here. He will work in. It's him or Estime or Kendre. Yeah, I'd have to look at the full quote, but I'm not going to be worried about Audric Estime or Kendre Miller, who stayed healthy, never shown that he's worthy of being on the NFL field. So if that's the type of report, we hear that all the time. I bet if you if you ask the Cardinals about their running back room, they would, I'm sure, say, yeah, like it's Jeremiah Love, and then we're going to work in Algier and but I mean, we kind of know where it's at, right? So to me, that's not too worrisome. We'll go Debo here. Crazy fall. I mean, pick 188 for Debo seems insane. Good to see you, JT. Just 0 funds left on DK. He's fine. People pay to see Kamara, even old Kamara. I mean, 2 years ago, he was extremely productive. 3 years ago, like it was just last year, and he got injured. I just think, particularly in a limited role, if he only has to play 20% of snaps now, 30% of snaps in a game, I think that's really good. Basically said the roster was being evaluated and asked about Kamara, Crane, and Coach Peak. I mean, I'm sure, like, what's the coach going to say? Like, these other guys are dust. They're paying him $10 million a year. This year. Like, I'm pretty confident, like, he's kind of locked into his role. And again, the competition is not good. I mean, that's my take on it. We'll obviously see how camps and stuff go. But I appreciate you for mentioning that. All right, here. Need a tight end. I will take Njoku. I think that's a fun upside swing this late. Yeah, and especially on Underdog, where Kamara is still going in like the 180s. I think there's a lot of value there. Here, it's he's already priced in a little bit more into his role, but I think in this range, there's just so much potential upside. Because Travis Etienne is a good pass catching. I mean, like, Etienne is kind of like what I was talking about, like Jaylen Warren earlier. Like, good, above average to good at the role, but he's not great enough that he's all, he's gonna like totally consolidate. Warren couldn't consolidate with Najee, definitely couldn't consolidate with Gainwell, and I don't think he will with Dowdle. A-Chain could, like last year when his competition is Tootin, and has in years past when his competition was Tank Bigsby, who is no real big passing threat. I do wonder this year with a guy like Kamara, if that role is kind of like locked in, like that third down role is more locked in for Kamara. Now maybe the goal line role, we would have to worry about a bigger back like Estime stealing some of that. It's just Kamara's been so efficient in and around the goal line his entire career. But the Saints are obviously in a different position now. No more Taysom Hill stuff as well, which I think is a benefit for all parties involved down the line for the Saints, like Chuck, running backs, tight ends, etc. But I think I am just a big believer in Kellen Moore also. Yeah, free Njoku does feel good. I agree. I'll be interested to see where his ADP, a couple weeks from now, where it kind of stabilizes. But right now, it still feels like really good value, especially going to such a great team. I know it's crowded, but it's also like he could just earn the job, win the job. It's a new offense coordinator, Mike McDaniel. And then, of course, the injury upside, if anything were to happen to Gadsden, I know Njoku is his checkered injury history, but anything happens to Gadsden and it's to the moon. All right, I'm up in a pick. I'll go Trey Harris. Second round pick. new coaching staff, the coach that, to me, Quentin Johnston doesn't really fit well with. Mike McDaniels cares so much about route running, cares so much about catching the ball. It's such a, Mike McDaniel's offense is so predicated on doing the right thing. And this is how the Shanahan offense is, this is how the McVay offense is. They care less about raw speed. And I know that's ironic coming from Tyreek Hill. They like it when they can get it, but it's more about doing your job right. And that's just never been Quentin Johnston, in my opinion. So I just think that it could just be a tougher fit, and Trey Harris is primed to take over. We got Aiden checking in. Hello. How far is Gadsden fell already? Where did Gadsden go in this draft? I know I passed him a couple times, but Gadsden went 12th pick, so 144. And I think his ADP on here is in the 120s still. So yeah, I mean, that's starting to go, but honestly, I think it should go more. I think, I think it's kind of coin flip who's going to be tight end 1 on this team. Trey Harris almost free, and most likely wide receiver number 2 is up. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Saints probably should be favored to win their division. They still seem under the radar. I think the Saints are a good division bet. I mean, I'd say the Bucs should be the favorite. That's how I'm imagining it goes. So tight end, we will throw on Parkinson. I think Parkinson or Dulcich is the play here. Parkinson's a nice floor play. Helps balance, the Njoku upside swing. But yeah, Saints, that would probably be the fun one to bet on, because Carolina technically, won it last year, but just kind of didn't look great. And the Bucs, I think are at the best offensive firepower, but Saints are probably the best all-around team, because I think their defense is above average, if not good. And then, just have a lot of ascending talent. I mean, their skill group, obviously they traded away Shaheed last year, but, you look at what they had at the end of the year, and it was Olave, Juwan Johnson, Vele, and, a bunch of other receivers that not really thrilled about. And Audric Estime was their lead runner and all this stuff. So you're just getting to a point where they're deeper at running back, they're deeper along the offensive line. They added there Jordan Tyson, Bryce Lance to the receiver room. Yeah, it just feels really good. Even backing up Juwan Johnson, they got Noah Fant. So that feels better. So yeah, I just think across the board, they could be really fun. So we're going to be looking at wide receiver with this last pick. Up at 9. So we'll go to the board real quick. Rip Trey Harris. McDaniel said QJ is Julio Jones 2.0. Oof. That's a quote. If that is anything close to true. JB, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. WFN Warehouse, you will have to let me know under what drugs was Mike McDaniel taking, which I know he has had an issue before, but so I don't say that too lightly, but boy, that I can't think of a receiver that reminds me less of Julio Jones than Quentin Johnston. Yeah, seriously. I'm with GAB on that one. Definitely coconut. Yeah. All right. coming up on my final pick. And of course, Huckleberry's final pick, and we'll look at the teams. We'll get out of here. I appreciate everyone for joining, drafting, commenting, of course, liking this episode, subbing, and for our Fanspeak members as well. We have our 24-hour live stream starting at noon Eastern this Friday. That should be fun and terrifying at the same time. But no, I am looking forward to it, and I'll be on tomorrow. I'll be on Thursday night, not during the day, Thursday night after the schedule as well. All right, final pick. We'll tack on one more receiver. Ken Coleman is fine. Don't mind the Brendan Thompson. I'll take the Brendan Thompson. I like the receiver room. Let's just go for the big swing spike week guy. So my team: Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, Rashee Rice, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, Dalton Schultz, and Carnell Tate is currently in the flex. Obviously, I have a 49er stack going here. We'll see. I get Cam Ward with Tate, and I end up really liking both our running back and receiver rooms. Tight end is thin, but I'm okay being thin on this site. So my other quarterbacks are, as I mentioned, Cam Ward and Aaron Rodgers, both stacked up as well. My remaining running backs are Rico Dowdle, Kenneth Gainwell, Rashard White, and Alvin Kamara to go along with two big names. I think there's a lot of talent there. I think a lot of chances to hit the flex. I think I'm very covered for buys. So I actually think my flex, honestly, any of those running backs can hit the flex. And then in addition to Tate, I think DK Metcalf can hit the flex quite a bit. Deebo Samuel, just ridiculous value. And then tacking on Trey Harris and Brendan Thompson, two Chargers receivers at the end, just betting on that Chargers offense, which some cheap, dart throws, feels good, in my opinion. Tight end, this is where I'm thin, but I'm okay with it. I think it still is fine. Dalton Schultz, one of the few tight ends who can get 100 plus targets in this league, did it last year. Could very well do it again. And David Njoku, again, this Chargers bet. This Chargers offense is good. I got some cheap fun plays for it. And then finally, Colby Parkinson, more of a floor play, but I think just ensures I'm not really taking zeros. The weeks he gets touchdowns, he can be very usable. Not really going to get a 20-point game out of him, but I'm okay with it. So I actually like how that team turned out. Let's look at Huckleberry's team. He was, I think, in the 3-hole, 3-7-7-3. Jane Daniels, Jeremiah Love, Cam Scadaboo, Chase McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Brock Bowers, Ramondre Stevenson currently in the flex. Like he said, the chance to get elite at all his positions, with Chase, Love, Daniels, even Bowers. That's a fun way to approach it. Other quarterbacks are Baker, we talked about a lot, and Kirk Cousins. So, early on should be covering some games as well. So, and Cousins with Bowers. So, makes a lot of sense there. And I think he's a good value. I mean, he could play half the year, particularly, and we'll know in a couple of days, but that becomes so much better if Daniels has a week 5 bye and, Baker's a week 7 bye. If Cousins is playing 8-9 games, covering those buys adds, more than enough value. Other running backs to go along with Scadaboo, Love, and Stevenson, Algier, Spears, and Tank Bigsby, Sean Tucker, so he went 7. I think that's fine. Like your top three are going to be the key guys, but Algier, handcuffing that room, Spears, nice number 2 piece there. I think Bigsby is a great handcuff option. Tucker, a touchdown guy. I think that plays well. Receivers, in addition to your big 3, Jordan Addison, Casey Concepcion, Rashid Shaheed, and Antonio Williams with the stack with Daniels. Only going 7. I think that's a good 7. Very strong. Should be 7 1s or 2s. And some spike week upside here with guys like Shaheed. Even Concepcion, I think, could have that a little bit. And of course, your big 3 are key. And then tight end wise, in addition to Brock Bowers, Gunnar Helm, and Terrence Ferguson for the Rams. So you take Bowers early and then take 2 tight ends later just to cover you. I think that works out. So no, I think that's a good, nice build overall. Like you said, you have the ability to be great at every position, which is a really fun way to approach it. And no position feels weak because of that either. So anyways, thank you guys for joining. I'll catch up with chat and then we'll get out of here in a minute or two. And like I said, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon as well. But Julio could actually catch the football, yes, and also run much better routes. GGS, thank you. McDaniel praised some very powerful, explosive, productive receivers I've had in the past, namely Julio Jones and Andre Johnson, and we're pushing them. So, I mean, yeah, he's saying he wants to see him reach those goals. I get it. But yeah, he's talking about elite guys. Mike, appreciate that. And thank you, Best Ball and Call, for the like. Huckleberry, thank you. Yeah, we will get on out of here. Thanks everyone again for joining. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day. I will catch you tomorrow. And yeah, be ready for a 24-hour live stream. See you then. Peace.